helping me, so this is what I'm going to be doing. And I have propped up over here what I'm going to be sewing today. Unfortunately, I'm learning that I can't zoom in or out, but I'll get started. Today I'm going to be sewing for Barbie. I am using these very cool material for hippie pants, and I already have the top cut up, and I'm going to be using the pattern so that you could follow along on your own time and when you feel comfortable. I'm using this pattern here, McCall's number 6876, and we'll be doing number B. The pattern that I'm using is the B for the pants, and as you can see here, I got inspired by the stars that are in the flare bottom. And for the top, I'll be doing the top. It is striped. I have a different stripe material, and it's a special rib knit, and I'm doing a short sleeve. So let's get started. I'll show you the uh, the pieces. What I do very briefly is I save them in a tissue, and I recycle them from my orders. When people are so gracious enough to wrap their items in tissue paper, I go ahead and recycle them. And the pants, I have it a different type of tissue. This is parchment paper or wax paper. It doesn't really matter. So I have the pants exact pattern to what the McCall, vintage McCall pattern is. And for later, I have this, my skipper and her booties, that people wanted to see her booties. So I'm going to set her over to the side and briefly show her at the end, give a little extra review. So I'm going to move my patterns. I have my other pieces here. And I wanted to show you actually what happened is the material is extremely limited that I use. So it's going to be a lot smaller than what the pattern calls out for. So what I'm going to do is sew it, and since it's ribbed, it's not going to fray, and I'm just going to later on put some bias in here, which is going to be either material or tulle. So what I'm going to do is sew it with the sewing machine, and that's what happens when you have very little fabric. And here is my the sleeve here. So let's get started. I'm gonna go ahead and move. That's the Barbie that's going to be modeling the clothing. And I'm going to start with the harder one, which is the top, because it's going to have a little bit more work to be done. And I'll move this here too. So hopefully our lighting is going to be with us. And for this rib knit, there is no real good front or back. It's actually for me. So I'm going to take what looks brighter, and I'm going to start connecting the tops, putting it here, and pin it together, because I don't know if it's going to move. Usually fabric moves. This is a heavy thickness. As you can see here, you can literally see the thickness to this fabric. And I have it set on medium stitch, so it's not it's not going to be tight, it's not going to be loose. And I have my dog with me. She is asleep. Hopefully she's not going to bark. Usually she doesn't bark until somebody comes to the door, which it's early 7 in the morning, so it shouldn't happen. Okay, so just like that, we attach the top. It's taking shape, and I am feeling that I want to be able to leave the top for now. Let's see how timing is coming along. And I have my finger set on the middle part to gauge, and it's actually a very good pattern to wear. It's going to be a good fit. The fabric is stretching a bit, and I'm going to tug it a little bit so that I don't have that much loose material. So see how I'm tugging it here into place. So I'm going to be careful for the other sleeve, since I know that it does move a little bit. And while I'm here, I'm just going to take a look and tug it. This material that I have over here, it's very beautiful and clean, but I did get it from a child's ribbed shirt, and I use the already prepped up bottom hem, so I don't have to do much work on it. And it's going to be a fun little item. When I make clothes and I list them for sale, I always put that it is vintage. If it comes from a clothing, I put if it's what clothing it was. And sometimes in the rare occasions when it's rare material from the 60s and it's really a hippie or mod material, I do show. Sometimes I don't have a choice, but I do definitely post if there's any age spots or any spots within the fabric. So we're talking about from the 50s and 60s, well, 60 and 70-year-old material. The colors are amazing on some of the bright spots. So here we are. Here's the top. And we could do a little bit of work over here on the neck. So let's try doing it on our own and folding it over. It's going to be a tight fold, but I'm going to go ahead and pin it, since it is a very thick material. And one of the things that when I pin it, I always want to make sure that this is kind of thick. I'm using my thumb to see, basically measure and eyeballing it. The other one is way tighter. Sorry about that. It's way tighter than the other one. So I'm going to be using my thumb. I do have the measuring tape, but for all case and purposes, you can see. So I'll go ahead and stitch it around the neck rim here. And this is something that you want to take very carefully, especially I am imagining I'm working on a medium stitch, so any wrong move, it's going to be hard to take the stitch apart. Okay, sorry about that. As I mentioned in my other video, my lighting is going, but I am trying to use the lighting on the cell phone and it's not working. So let me try one more thing, or try it again. Alright, it's going to come back again. Alright. I had my not a coat, but I had a long warm and fuzzy item on, which was touching the things over here that moved my lighting. But the will is to do the live stream, and of course I knew that I needed good equipment, so I'll be getting there. And with your patience of staying with me, I'm going to be able to grow. At first, I was trying to get the equipment, and of course, it takes time. I'm not one with great means, so I can't say I'm on a fixed income, because I'm not at the age of retirement. But if I do get a job, it will minimize my time of being able to do this. Okay, so there we go. What I'm going to do over here, since it's thick and bulky, later on I'm going to get the needle and thread and press it down. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the sleeves. And for this, definitely I need to pin it, because it is a moving material. It does move. So I want to be able to keep it into place as long as I can. And soon after this, we'll get started with the pants. We'll get started with the darts first in the front. And I am going to keep the white thread to move along the live stream. Alright, that was good. I did use a lot of material on the side, and I went ahead and gave myself that so that I could keep it in place. It was moving a lot, the material, so if I was sewing it too much to the side, I feared that I was going to be getting like ribbing within the material. So I went ahead and gave myself plenty of room. And onto the other side. And the reason why I gave myself enough room on the side over here is to help and press it down. Okay. It is very bulky. It is very hard to see where the threading or where the machine went, but I can see it by the pressure in the material. I just want to make sure that I don't cut the sewing seam while I'm trying to cut the sides. Alright, so here we go. And I'm going to sew the back and put a button, a bead button. Okay, for this one I am going to sew very close to the edge because I do need it. And it was just a straight stitch, so it was not going to be too difficult. So let's try this on Barbie, have her semi-dressed, and take a look how this idea is going to look. It's a very cute little blouse. Okay. I'm looking at my dog. She's trying to do something here. Okay, give me a second, please. Ever since my other dog went over the rainbow, which was just a week ago, today's Monday, so she passed away early, very late Saturday night, just minutes before midnight. She has been very nervous, and for whatever reason, she is not going and using her training pad. And since I'm in the video, she woke up and she needed to go, so she missed her spot, so just went ahead and took care of that really quick. So if anybody knows of that or that type of situation, let me know, but she definitely started doing that. She's probably nervous. So here is Barbie and her little rib shirt. So now we're going to get started with the pants. They're going to be really cool. And I'm going to pin the back and sew the folding part. And what I do is, if the pants are too loose, I'll go ahead, even though it doesn't call for darts, for waist darts, I'll go ahead and put them on, just to give her a better look, a tighter feel. These pants are going to come out so cute, and this is a vintage material, probably from the 1990s, early 1990s, and probably middle to late 80s. What they did back in that time is they used a lot of border material, border fabric with designs on the bottom, sometimes on the top. Very pretty. I remember my mom made me a dress. I absolutely love it. And it was border print, tropical, with flamingos. I absolutely love that dress. So here is the back. I'm making it look like a jean, even though it's cotton material. And onto the front. So yeah, that was one of my favorite dresses. And what happened, I didn't get to keep anything much as a kid, because my mother would do the clothes. We would go on vacation, and she would always give away our stuff, all our clothing, because our family members were less fortunate, and she would always give our clothing. So I really, at the time, um, couldn't see the what was going on to my items because I didn't know. I was very, very young. If I were to guess, I was in third grade when I had that dress. But, you know, a fisherman always talks about the fish that got away. That's the dress that got away. So what I'm doing here is measuring to make sure that the darts are in an even spot. Even though that the fabric calls for it, I want to measure where to make sure that the sewing is even, and I'm going to start where I ended on the other side. So I'm keeping my finger mental note there, and double sew, and where I put the pin is where I'm going to give it that much of a width. So here we go. I'll be sewing one side of the pants so that I can do the top rim, do the waistband, but I'm just gonna fold it. After the video, what I'm going to do is take the top apart, and I'm noticing here that my pattern is not even, because I'm measuring the bottom, and then I do remember giving a lot of room for the top. Probably that's the way the pattern is, but I'll do that after. So I'm going to, I'm going to measure by this to make sure what length to take. So I'm going to take the length of the bottom, and then I'm just going to cut the top to make it even. And I'm also going to do the hem with the sewing machine. Just going to flip it. And when I'm done, I'm going to take a look at the pattern itself. And I do remember giving one side all the room. And this is what I'm talking about. The back pattern is a lot longer. So I'm going to adjust it right now. Just cut it. Just give it a little bit more room, just for the sake and the purpose of having it even. And when I sew it, I'm going to adjust it. It's easy to eyeball when you're sewing. And I'm going to fold it, and this is the part where the snap or the loop goes in. And I'm going to do this part here. Okay. Now it's time to connect. Let's see how the eyeballing happened, and it's pretty fair. So I'm going to connect it here by the sides and then connect it by the middle part. And before I connect the middle inseam, I'm going to do the hem, the machine hem. And these are going to be some very groovy pants. And thanks again to the idea pattern that the pants in the pattern had the stars in there. Alright, and this is where we're going to be doing the hem. I have a vintage machine, so I don't have any other thing um, other than straight stitch. The only thing I have is how tight the stitch is. So I'm going to leave it tight. I'm changing it right now. And after the video, it's going to be easy for me to take it apart, use my serger, and do the serge on the bottom, and go ahead and do the hem again. So because I will be listing this, or I might just leave it like this. Here. Because this is a light medium and cotton, and anytime I do the serger, it does make it bulky. And if it was a straight hem, this is not a straight hem. It's a a little wave, if you will, on the bottom. Any bulkiness makes it bulky. And I'm holding it with my hand to keep the curve. Alright, now for the moment of truth. We're going to hem it together. And like I mentioned, border print fabrics are vintage, and unfortunately they would only do the border on one side or on the bottom only. And if they did it at the top, then it would be something different. So I have a pin in the middle to make sure that I get the connection there for it to be even. And right now what I'm doing, which you might not see, is I'm connecting the bottom and pressing it, keeping it there with my finger. Okay, there's a little bit of a curve, so I'm trying to ease it by straightening it and giving it enough fabric on the side. Okay, going to give it a trim right now, fabric trim. That's what I'm doing at the moment, and we're going to turn it inside out, place it on Barbie, and see this beautiful new little outfit. It's always a good idea to give them ease at these corners or at these areas. It helps the flare on the bottom get the groove on with the fabric going along. So it looks like jeans, which is really great. And these are going to be great hippie pants. Put it on Barbie, and it will be cross-listed, and here we go. Here are the pants. Pretty cool, amazing. They look like they have been hand stitched. So since one of the things that I'm learning on live is that I cannot adjust the camera when I would record and then upload it, I could do it. So here is Miss Barbie with her pants. Very cool. And in the back, I'll go ahead and turn it inside out, take a little bit more from the side so that we can have a very nice waist. But I'll go ahead and put the blouse down, put her down, adjust the camera so that we can take a look. I'm also going to put a pin on her so that we can get the more of the feel of how the blouse looks with this. I'll look around and probably see if I could make something else that will go with these great pants. But for now, this is how the set came out. So moving in here so you can take a look at Barbie's pants. Pretty cool. There we go. And as promised, I'm going to bring Skipper and show you her little booties. They have a little hole here. And let me show you what they look on. Beautiful metallic little beads. And I'll take it off so you can see here. Very carefully. See, she has her little the little hole. So thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow at 7 in the morning. We will be doing another Barbie item. I will be using the patterns that are out, the vintage patterns, of course. And that'll be easy if you want to follow along until I'm able to do my own, and they'll be able to be downloaded. But that's a plan of mine and for the future. Be safe, take care of yourself, and be nice to one another. It comes back tenfold. Until the next video, bye.